Okay, keep going. Yeah. Do you have any suggestions? You want to do the form one more time? It's just, yeah, let's do that again. Okay, deep breathing. So when we go through forms, what's forms for? It's a training tool. It houses all the movements, but then when you go through the form, what you're trying to do is, understand what the movement is for, and you develop this sort of analytical skill for what the movements are used for. But most of us can probably figure out the offensive side of the movement. The defensive side probably is a little bit more tricky. Then you have a dominant hand, and you have a secondary hand. So the secondary hand is the hand that usually doesn't cooperate or coordinate with the movements as well, because we don't pay attention to that. So the secondary hand is as important as the primary hand, mainly because they support each other. So, anytime you do your movements, you have to pay attention to the other side, right? So, just for instance, what he just did, just looking at his movement, there's a high block, the other hand is loaded up, arms. Okay, so what did the secondary hand do after the block? So what's the important part of that is to what? Drop your elbow, turn the waist, and coordinate that motion. So because after you block, you just can't strike if you're using that movement, right? You have to redirect it, and then you have an option, right? His option is, if you were doing it to Rob, let's see what would happen. Say you threw a punch at him and you block the high block. Yeah. So what would you do? So you'd have to pull down. Right. Yeah. Because that's what happens in the form. So you have to interpret the movement based on the strategy. So we'll go to a 45 degrees so you can see. In the high block position, you're here, right? My hand is loaded up because I went like this. And then this hand's going to drop, right? So this exposes him, and then it also clears the path for me to come in. So what's the other option? I can go like this and strike, but in the form we're doing this. So I can draw back, but I really can't pull. So my option is to do this, right? So in this instance, I turn it to this, and I palm strike. So because we're doing this, what is that? That's equal opposite response. We learn to punch like this. We don't punch like this, right? So you have to understand that the movement is here, the dropping is there, the palm straight is there. But this doesn't necessarily pull. It's also to control. Because you control this movement, you have to be able to control. So what you focus on in the form would be that as a power movement. But you can't use that movement unless you have this hand here. So that's why the secondary hand is so important. They complement each other. But then when we talk about integration of body, when you block and I go down, I'm actually sinking. When I turn, and then when I turn, I have to also capture his arm and not be out here. Because that's what most people are afraid of, that punch, right? So you have to be able to respond. But if you get close enough, you have to do it immediately. You don't have this much time to do the strike. You have an instant of time to strike as you start to respond. Because if you wait too long, another punch is coming. Yeah.
When you close the gap, prevent it from that second. If you stay back, I have to do this.
Yeah.
You close the gap.
Yeah. So even if he punches, then you change, right? Because my hand does that. So where did you learn this? The first form, the second, whatever a hook is, right? So when my hand is here, and I go like this, then he has an option to go there, or go to the head, right? Boom. Right. Right. So when you go up, that you have to change. So that's adapting. So you change your body positioning to, you modify things. In form, the movements have to be accurate and precise. But in application, it varies based on, your manipulation of those positions. So there's sometimes combinations of movements that you already know, but you learn that through your form, because if you have enough information here and enough conditioning in the body, that those subconscious motions are, conditioned reflexes. But they don't become reflex unless it gets into the subconscious. Because if it's not in the subconscious, it's in the forefront of your mind, then you're thinking about it. It doesn't work. It's too late. It's too slow. But you have to, in the learning process, go through the thinking and analyzing it to understand it. Then the muscle memory and the transition starts to be important. Because meanwhile, it doesn't matter. It's just doing the form. When we just say, let's do another. Well, why don't you try that with each other just to see if you can react to each other's 1, 2, to see what this feels like. Then I'll kind of give you a principle of what the movement should be. Yeah, just grab someone about your size. Yeah. So one side does the punch, the other side does the block. If you want another partner, if Paul, you want to work with John? Yeah, just. Boy, he was sweaty. No, not you. I think I'm gonna have to wash this now. Oh, you got any deodorant?
I ain't going you.
Hey, that's a different kind of mask. That's a different mask. It's got the shape. It's an N95 with a trash bag on the end of it. It looks like a duckbill mask. It's called the duckbill mask.
Edie just got these, so I'm trying them out today.
Okay.
But they're almost $1.
Yeah.
So it's on the expensive side. So I don't think I'll wear them all the time.
Well, when you wear it, it just quacks us up. Okay.
It's very comfortable though. So it's got the guard, and I can breathe. There's a way from my face.
Oh. Hey, what's a buck? What's a buck when you got 1 million of them, right? It's
like the ones like that from Costco's. Those are cheap. But Costco's doesn't have them.
No, I get these in Chinese supermarket in Brighton. $5 for 50.
That's cheap.
I get.
really well done.
They're probably made by the same people and put it in a different box. You don't think there's 50 companies making them, do you? They're probably all the same, yeah. So the cheaper the better. Because they throw them away. I mean, yeah. Oh, that's N94 plus, the D. That's N95D for the duckbill. Okay. Huh? We're working on this. Your high block, right? You punch here. Hey. Yeah. Just this, drop the elbow. The most important thing is drop the elbow. So okay, here's the thing now. See, watching how people execute the movement, there's two things, right? The first thing is one, and then if you do it physically, there's. Let me see. I'll borrow. Anybody dry? Okay, I'll use it. Oh, I just did, Rob. I got all wet. Okay. So watch it. Watch this. Watch this. In a high block, right? When you're high block, and you drop your elbow, that's called sink the elbow, relax the shoulder. If you go like this and go like this, I'm pulling her hand down. If I pull the hand down, doesn't mean I relax this, because on the pull down, I start to use strength. So once you use strength in the motion, then it becomes a conflict in action. You know, it looks like you're trying to do the same thing, but this is not cooperating with this. So that's what I call tail wagging the dog. But if I go like this, then I drop my elbow because I relax my shoulder, which is something you never heard of, I'm pretty sure, right? So you go like this, right? You sink your elbow, so you sink. So how fast can you sink? Well, gravity, she pushes, boom. Right? So I respond to this. Right. So if this is coming down, I know that this is coming out. Right? But right? So if this is coming down, then that's coming immediately. You have a split second to do this. See, my teacher used to use this, like a metronome, tit-tak. If it's tit-tak-tak, it's too late. You have tit-tak. 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 If you go tit-tak-tak, it's too late. Yeah, you have a. Okay, so the important thing is this: the sink your elbow. So that's in everything you do. This is on this side. Well, on this side, and I do this, the same thing applies. When I'm here, I drop my elbow and I stroke from there. If you go like this, make a fist and try to hit with this hand, this, because you're pulling down, becomes a physical motion. So that physical motion could be in conflict with what the body wants to do. But the thing is, if you're here and I relax my shoulder, then it's not in conflict with what the body wants to do as a change. So when I relax, gravity creates the energy for the motion. So I sink here and I just turn here. But it's all gravity till you finalize the movement as when you have to apply the force. Right? So if he hooked here and he struck here, I sink my elbow and I turn like this. So if I sink, right, I'm here, then at that point I sink and apply a little bit of force. But when you strike, this hand is here, so that's defensive. I could also do this when he punches, intercept that like that. So that's sinking the elbow. You see? Again, this is sinking the elbow. This is striking here. Right?
Too many options.
But here, again, I could do this. Now it hits there. So there you hit because This is a joint. You hit the joint because this is muscle and bone. The joint is, that's where it's the nerves, the attachment, and that's the weakness. When you cut a bone, you don't cut the bone, you cut the joint. Because the joint where the cartilage is the softest and easiest to penetrate. Yeah. So, well, those chicken legs, you hit the wing right at the joint, then it comes off. If you hit in between, you shatter the bone. But, the bigger the animal, the harder they get through the bone. So that's why they saw the bones. But at the joints, they just chop them. So the same concept here, because humans have the same joints. This can go here and here. So what I did in this instance, when he punched, it would drop like this, and then I turn like this. So that hand turned like that by sinking the elbow again. See, sinking the elbow is in everything. Right? If the hand is here and I sink, that allows me to do that. If I try to grab it when it's here, then I'm doing that. There's a break in the movement. This becomes a pivot. But we have the pivot because we're here, right? You see when we're in fuhak, right? And we go like this and then pull down. That's what this is. Though it's in a low position, yeah, I'm just using that movement here. If I'm here, I use it here. It's the same movement at different places. Just that. That's all you're doing, right? So between here, you're rocking the pivot. That's your pivot point, right? Here, that's your pivot point. So when I pivot here, I don't go beyond here. I go just to vertical, and because you learn vertical from where? Elbow up, vertical down, and push. Elbow up, vertical down, and push. So this action is really the pull down. You have it in gung as a fundamental. But we don't pay attention. But the thing is, when we pull down in the form, now we start to use force. But if you do this, then you don't control your elbow. If you do this, boom, boom, boom. The hand actually is doing this, right? 1, 2, 3. It's not just 1. See, if I just go like this, from the high, I go like this. If I just go like this, then that's what happens. If I go like this, that's what happens. So that's the phase and movements. So the phase and movements, first sink the elbow. So anytime you're doing gung and your elbow up, you have to sink your elbow. Big, right, or pow. You have to sink the elbow up, sink, turn. So you have to get the sinking in the elbow, the dropping of the elbow in the...
Once you block, it's just a little bit of movement. It kind of throws the person off balance. It kind of, even if it's a tiny bit, but just that little, it disrupts the other person so much. It's such a subtle thing that you don't have to use a lot of strength. They're not expecting to get that little nudge.
Yeah, that subtlety is what we call disruption, but it's called henyit fat hoi ong tun sin. By pulling one hair, you can move the whole body. That's what the poem says. But the thing is, it's like moving a heavy object. You pry the corner, and then you can shift the whole load. When the whole load is there, you can't push it. So you have to kind of, that's what they do when they move these granite stones. They pry up a little corner, and then they do that, and then the whole thing you jostle it over. So that's jostling the movement. So when you cover the hand, when you're like this is vertical, right? This is vertical, horizontal, vertical. So between vertical and horizontal, right? Vertical and horizontal, that's all we're doing. It could be vertical and horizontal, vertical and horizontal. So you have two options, one palm in, one palm out. This becomes dragon, this becomes middle, right? Dragon is the continuation of this, so it looks like this. If I go like this, middle, turn down, it's almost the same, just that the turnover is at different places. Now this is this way. When I go this way, cross hand, and like this becomes cutting hand, or cutting and opening. So in the middle position, it's this, coming from this side to this side. If my hand is here, then it goes this way. That's the same. So that's why when you do this, like the salute, that goes in, because my hand is coming from here. But my hand is here, and it goes this way or this way, then you move from wherever it is. So that, if you include that into your system, then that becomes a reflex. So if I'm here in this position, he punches, this just goes like this. I don't do this, because that's a waste of time. Now if I'm like this, then it's like this, right? So that's actually, when you're in a situation and it's kind of intimidating, the best thing to do is just kind of cross your arms. It protects your chest, or you're in a ready position, and it's really, if you go like this, then that's put up your dukes. But the thing is, if you're like this, if someone reaches for your center, you're like that. So then you're ready positioned. See, so you just have to just spread the arms. So that's from here. Right, so if you're here, see, the hand is like this, and you're like this. As two movements. You can go like this, right, and then and this is actually full hawk, right, as a body maneuver. So that's just, we don't pay attention to very simple movements, but they're most effective. When your hands are here, it just opens, right? So my hands are here, and then what do? Close. Okay. So between vertical and horizontal, you go open, close. Oh.
You got me that time.
Because I saw the mask was too big. Oh, sorry.
You go for the hill.
No, that didn't hurt you, right? Yeah, it was gentle. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Anyways, so that's what that is. So that's why when we do these movements, here it's sink the elbow, not lift the elbow. Sink the elbow. There's a partial lift, because when I'm doing this and I lift, it's really sinking first and then continue. So phase of movement. Sink first and then use the body. Sink first and then use the body. So it's a timing thing. Learn to move the hand and the body, and then the hand. So that just gives you an idea that you have to build some synchronization, build the relationship in the two sides. That's, the most important part of this training. Yeah. So your space is here. Shoulder. So it's like a rectangle, right? Between a rectangle and the two corners is the space that's what your opponent's going to attack. It's that space. Then you got this little block up here, right? But the block here, if he punches to the head, you have an option to tip to the side, or you have an option to step. So that's what you have to, that's a timing thing, but a reflex thing. But if you're standing here, you're double weighted, then all you can do is this. But if you respond by knowing that when you're here and you can shift, then you can walk and you can move. Because the first thing to do is controlling down here. Because when you're here, what he punches, we learn to go side to side. Right? because we do this. But we think that we need this giant movement. But if I'm here and I go like this, then I can step to the side. And I can step to the side. See? So that's what a kuen bu is. That's what the unicorn step is. So if I shift and it looks like this, okay, ready? Then there's your footwork for that. And that's essentially what you would be doing. You would be stepping 1, 2, 3. Right? So when you do this, we've done this before when he moves. Right? So so you can see that the feet actually would move. But when you're moving, you see. So that's just using the leg. But when you move, when you go this way or this way, the hand is doing that, like in Jade Lady Work Shuttle. Right? So the hand goes up. See? Then there's your leaning stance. So that's what the ma bu is for. So pair off and try that on each other. See if you can practice a little sidestepping, sinking the elbow, relaxing the shoulder. This vertical horizontal is very important. I'm here, right? 1, 2, 3. But I did a shuffle there. See if I'm here. Right.
Oh, you exchanged?
The exchange, yeah. Here.
Jazz to him. You can do anything you want.
Wow. Yeah, go ahead. Cha cha cha. Cha 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 cha. Yeah, good. Spread your legs. Yeah. You move out. You move away from the cabinet, so you just in case. Not that the cabinet can be damaged. It's you might bang into it. See, all those unicorn steps help.
Shoulder should be actually coming in so that the back of your shoulder is right behind you and you use it to, sorry. Good, good.
Do a double, just practice this step. Just use this as a guide. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn to leaning. Yeah, so practice it like this. This way, just use this as a post. 1, 2, 3, 4. To give you a guideline, yeah. Yeah. So what? Oh. So another way of practicing it, just so you have reference point, you just use this as a position. This is where you attach. You step, step, step here. Then if you use your hand, just so that you know that you're like this, this, this. So that way you have a reference point, and then you know where your body is turning. You see, when I'm here, this is just the posting, but this is the wrong foot, but it's still, you have to come through the middle. But the idea is to just have a framework. No, okay. So if you okay, the other foot's forward, this foot, yeah. So then when you're here, you use that and you move, then you move, you're turning back, and then you're here. So that gives you the reference to where your body should be going. Because if you just do the legs, you may not control the body. So it gives you a reference point. You see what I mean? See when we're here, you do it, yeah. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Now do it again. Now control your torso. 1, 2, but yeah. What I meant was this. Hand, switch feet. Yeah. Now 1, I'm there. 2, 3, 4. So then your body, you have your reference point, because you have to still have the upper. Yeah. So here, because see, I have to relax my arm. If my arm is stiff and I go like this, that's how it feels. If I move 1, 2, I adjust to here. I adjust to here. Because a butterfly is actually this, right?
Yeah.
And then this controls the elbow. And then I see. I mean, that's the strategy. So if you understand the strategy, you know the phrasing of the motion becomes, very distinct. Has to be.
You actually do apply the 1-5 part, right? Because that's,
Yeah.
when you get there, you gotta do it.
Yeah. So when you're here, 1, 2, 3.
Right. Right? You
Yeah.
gotta do it.
Yeah. Because. So you're here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Because you shrink here. 1, 2, 3. I'm here. Yeah. 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 So the momentum comes from here. 1, 2, 3. Here. See?
Like in real life, you might position yourself like that.
Yeah. Well, in reality, you might just strike like this. So it'll be like 1, 2.
None of this fancy double stepping.
Yeah. 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 But the footwork is something. If you practice it complicated, then the simple way is easy. If you practice the simple way, you only have one source.
I think one thing we need to the attachment.
Yeah.
It's basically a guide.
Yeah. So that's why you hold it here, and I go like this.
Now he's
Yeah.
connected here. He can slide in and know.
See, if you like in Bagua, right? Bagua Jiang, right? So Stephen, just like this is in Bagua Jiang, right? When you practice the walking, you walk this way. When we do pushing hands, then you switch. This teaches you the Bagua Jiang, yeah. Then you just walk the circle. Then you just keep walking.
But he's attaching already, right? So he can feel my arm and he's like sliding.
So, that's a mabu. Yeah, you see? You're practicing, you're stepping. Just move, right?
But when you cannot connect what you mean.
This is.
This anchor point, right? So then he can slide and you can slide, so you can feel where. Which is why I think the part
So that's like this.
you have the cutting hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can feel where, I mean, that's kind of where the
Yeah. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. 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 We used to do the drill like that.
Well, I was telling
We used to have this arm pounding like this. So you turn the body. Ooh.
we even had a personal two-hand fishing drill like that.
Yeah, that one. That had that in it too. 1, 2, 3. 3. 1, 2.
It's like a two-hand drill where we did
Uh-huh.
So this is not.
Kind of moving away from me instead of you're kind of going at an angle and then coming back. Try to keep it
just
smooth.
go turn the corner.
Yeah, yeah, turning the corner.
That was more of an angle.
Well, if you this one, right, it's like this. This is where we start off. Your step is like this. If you just go like this, see. So when you're doing this movement, and I do this, that leads this hand over there to expose this. See. You know, when you're doing the form. Yeah, why you have to go from here to here is because when you're here, then you're in this position.
Draw a line.
Get your other leg around. Yeah.
Something I'm actually stepping in and drawing.
You know how when you're doing the two-person set and he elbows you, and then you pick or you pick? Yeah. So do it again. Just do the elbow. When you do the elbow to her, right? Like in the two-person set. When you go like that. Yeah. Yeah. No, don't. You should be here, like this. No. Yeah. So let me do it there. So on the elbows, you want to be like this. Not like this. You want to be like this, because then you're going to do this. See, 1, sink, turn. And then you're going to, is that what happens? Yeah. Cup, roll your, yeah, in here. This is your structure. You know, this, but you turn like this. So here. Because your strength is from the, yeah, intercept like, so don't, okay, again, see, my hand is here, sink, so yeah, so don't try to do that, so you're reaching, so you intercept it like this, then next movement you go, you see, you use this motion as a timing.
So it's not that I mean, right now your elbows is far from your body.
It seems like that. That's here. So what I create here is the structure.
So there's a circle.
Because this is this. So then this and this come together. And then I'm here. Cover. Just like a typical cover, and you're going to go like that, right?
Right into the back. I mean, it's the same circle.
Yeah. Yep, no. Yeah, like time it. Just time it like this. See? Just practice this. Rock the boat. See? It feels like this, yeah. Again, yeah. Do it again. Yeah, do it again. But okay, but why separate? Go up. Yeah. No. Okay. Okay. Do it with me. Let me see. So use your elbow here. Do elbow me. All right. I'm with you. I'm with you. But you're going like this. But what? You don't need to do that. Because when his elbow comes, I don't have to like try to get it there. You right? So so here's another thing that they work on. This was from Muay Thai Chak, but look at this. You get your elbow here, right? Your elbow. This is the elbow. So a lot of times this is a big. So how do you use the big? Well, here, right? If I go, he throws it, and I just try to do that, then you're not going to be able to work the redirect on that force. So just do this, right? 1, then 2, 3. So this is what an elbow stroke is. Because when I'm here, when he elbows, I don't have to reach out for to try to stop that. I just, when it comes in, see, because between this, and this is how you make your transition. Because isn't that what happens in the form? You're here. This is, right, here. So in the movement, I rock through this, then I'm in my position. That's the body form. I sink and I turn. When I turn, then we do that. And this. So that's 1, 2. Right. So you use your body. That's your imagery, right? So when we're here and you do this, that's the movement. When you go like this, big cover, black tiger. That's what the body is doing. So when you're here, he elbows or punch, it works with either one of them. But the first line is this. There's my big. Or stop it here or there. Because this is my space, this is my vertical line, this is my horizontal line. I'll use the horizontal and then the vertical. Right, so that's just a transition. Yeah, well, this is specifically this motion. Yeah, you can modify. You can say, that's just being how many things you can do with it. But the reality is we're working with this one motion, so we're here. But you have to have enough sensitivity. So don't worry about the other side. Worry about the first side first. Train yourself to respond by not using strength. Yeah. No, just like this. You don't punch. I'm here. Then I do my big. If you throw a punch and then I try to big, there's a missing link there. There's a miss. So that's just exaggerating. But if I like this, that's just like if you were elbowing, right? Then I'm here. Then Muay Thai shot would be that. So it has some sticking to it, rather than when they do the Muay Thai shot, they're just banging away. It's not as much skill. Now don't lean. Yeah. Well, sticking is a concept. This is a part in the form. They're pieces of position, right? Sensitivity is another stage of development, right? Because this is the position. You have to have this structure first. Once you're in that structure, what do you have to do to feel it, right? So if you throw a punch, there's first. So in the form, we go like this, right? Then we turn like this. The reality is that you're not going to go from there to there. You're going to go from here to here. So if I go like this, then I have the movement. So this is softening what typically would be boom, 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 boom. So kind of broken, but you have this. But what happened to get from that point to this point was this, right? So if my hand is here, I have to pivot around this point, right? And then this would be typically in a form like this, but I need to slip this to control this and then go this way. See? See? So that's again vertical to horizontal. The whole concept is this. When the point, this is the key point, right? That's where your block is. Well, if I use it like this, then I'm like this. See? Then it's like this. But the thing is, first is here. If you throw a punch and I try to catch that, you can't. It's impossible to catch because of the speed, the time, and the length of that. So you intercept it here. Then you move, right? Depending on that maneuver right there is what's important. If I do this first, then I have to turn the vertical again. See? So if my hand is here, then I'm here. Right? If my hand is here and I use this, then I'm here. Because I use this as the turn. Or the turn. So that's what, when we go through the forms, I said, try to get your movements compatible with direction. So the direction of movement is this, or this, up and down. Then your hand, the coordination should be built into your system. But everything, without using like impact force, using the soft force, because soft force and deflection is harder to apply than just, abrupt force or banging force. See, if he throws a punch, this is the easiest way to block, right? But it's also totally committed, because if he throws a punch and I miss then I'm really out of position. But if he throws a punch and then I'm kind of there to just kind of absorb it, then you have much more control. So that you practice along those lines, like the vertical and the horizontal, and then the push. That's the fuhak. See? Because that's a triangle. I'm here, and fuhak is like this. But if I'm just like this, just like gung when my hand is here, right? That's all you're doing. Because once the hand folds, there's your up and down. Fold, open. See, here. I turn like this, or turn like this. When I turn like this, what do you have? This. Oh, wait. No. Yeah, that's the elbow stroke, right?
That looks so good, Lawrence.
Yeah. So that's why. So the form just teaches you transitions and posturing for your bridges. They're called hand methods, silfat. Leg methods are pufat. And it's all kind of strategically mapped out. So while you're still here, Mina, bring that picture out. So Mina got this picture that was drawn about 50 years ago, but it's really more of an artistic. It's actually Tai Chi's Pang Li Jai on toilet Jiao Kao. So it has the sayings that we have in Tai Chi. So Stephen, you want to read some of them? So here it is. So what we did, okay, so this is Tai Ge-kun, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
essence of Tai Chi.
So how you say Tai Ge?
Tai Chi Yu Ling Go. It's almost like in the form of like a poem.
Yeah.
Song.
So these are the 8 directions.
Oh, these are
Pang Li Jai on, right? Toilet Jiao Kao. So these are Pang
yeah, Pang Lei Zai on
on push
Choi.
toilet. Lit. Li is splitting, separate. Lit. Jiao, elbow. Cow, shoulder.
So this is the
Eight energies of Tai Chi. And then,
動傳動 that means we move 好似一發 you move one thread the whole
yeah,
body moves.
that's a 牽一發可以用的 yeah, yeah.
含胸拔背
Hollow the chest and round the back.
周身一家 it's like I think it's
The whole body is one universe, one unit.
垂脊正身 the spine is vertical
Check.
spine.
Yeah, vertical spine. Yeah.
垂脊is the
So-
spine.
yeah.
It's vertical.
So so we call it 引後yon. Yeah, the vertical spine. Yeah.
用意不用力
Use your will and not strength, right?
right 沉肩垂肘沉肩
Chimgan, so or chimgan, gun is the shoulder. Chimgan, suijang. So you relax the shoulder, sink the elbow, or sink the elbow, relax the shoulder. Yeah,
鬆腰坐胯鬆條腰
yeah. Loosen the back. Relax your hips, the qua, right? So when you go in the stance, you have to sit, relax, or relax.
執一取萬 this one is a little bit tricky I don't know what it 執一定係 hold one you grabbing 10,000 it's like it's kind of like once you
Yeah.
yeah
No, that's below.
執一取萬I
Jab yat chut man, yeah.
it's like you grab one actually you take
Yeah,
10,000
yeah,
like a lever
Yeah.
lever. 足底貼地足底 is like the bottom of your feet gotta be against the ground
rooted, yeah.
圓擋曲膝圓擋曲膝 I think it's round your 擋
No, the dong is this when you're rounding, the rounding of the cooks, yeah, and the bending and yeah.
氣沉丹田
Haitian, huh, yeah, yeah. This here, the dong, this should be round.
氣沉丹田 is
Your breath sinks to your navel or your dantian.
虛領定勁
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 虛領勁
that's it
Huiling is
empty but it's actually 定 remember
ding, yeah, it's ding, yeah. It's like your head is pushing up,
yeah, that's what I mean
yeah.
the thing is on top
Well, when you have the vertical spine and you lift the head, it's
隻正身 we talked about it
yeah,
四兩撥千斤
yeah. 4
it's the four ounce of force can divert
10,000, yeah. It's a yeah.
清心自念 that means that you have to have a clear mind and the heart everything is gotta be
When you yeah.
That's it. I don't know who the signatures are. Lam. I don't know who these.
These are stamps. Those are stamps.
These are the names. These are names of people. Gum Yong. I don't know if they probably, but these are the ancient letters. This is a stamp of the carving is the ancient letters of
Yeah.
the Bat King. Where did you get
This he got it at a 90-year-old lady that lives in Lincoln.
They're Chinese from mainland China. And they,
Oh, they kept it.
She said this is 50 years old.
Oh, I believe it. I should
So
frame it.
I'm gonna frame it. I'm gonna hang it right there.
It's actually very significant.
Yeah.
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 Those are the eight
did Tai Chi.
Bat King.
she liked it, like just the whole.
Yeah.
So her friend,
Oh, the
friend gave it
stamp?
to her about
Yeah, because it's so fine. Yeah, and these letters are the ancient Chinese letters. The way
But
the contemporary.
yeah.
You know what this means? I was like, if you say in English, and she started translating it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, oh, that's the same thing. That's the
Oh,
same
it's very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. If there were any rich,
The words and these I've seen it before, but all in one place I've left.
is there any wealthy Tai Chi people up there? He could sell it on eBay, but there's none, so we can't.
John can do woodcut, right? That's a lot of work. Yeah, that's a lot of work.
You want to put on it? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to make a frame. I'm going to make one.
Oh, you're gonna make one.
Yeah, yeah. I'll make a. I'll make a. I'll make a. Oh, you take a picture of it. But I'm gonna make a like a matting for it, a matting, and then put it in a frame. Yeah.
That is really cool. I mean, not only does it have like all the phrases that
Yeah.
you always talk about, but it's like
Yeah.
how old is like those guys?
No, those styles are thousands of years old. Those are the old before the writing they have today. Yeah.
What's the one that like Sonny always gets the scroll, and then there's like 100 different versions of the.
Oh, that's the kind of that style. Yeah.
It's funny, when we were in China, like every time we go, you always get those little soft stones with a little, like figurines carved on top and the bottom is flat and they carve like a
Yeah.
little,
Yeah.
like, put
Yeah.
their name on it.
Yeah. Those are those stamps. Yeah. That's what I stamped with the promotion things. But you know, when we're in China, we had everyone made one with their name on it. Yeah. Yeah. The name stamp. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
A name chop?
Yeah, yeah, chalk, a chalk, yeah.
I heard that's where the expression chop chop comes from. Is that like?
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
They stamped it twice.
Chop chop. Oh,
Chop, chop.
It was an urgent message.
Oh, really?
It's not supposed
That's
to.
probably true.
Yeah, so it was like chop chop